got a couple trees I gotta take. There's a big cedar down there. I've worked a good hunk of this area right now, but I left that big guy to the end. I don't want to drop that big pine until I know where it's gonna fall. So let's take a look. Okay then. That's the kind of noise they make. I came in a little low under my cut on this side. So it's not that big. I thought it was bigger than that. 3 feet or something. Jeez Louise, that's only see, I don't know, there's 10 years in there, maybe 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 100 years old. Just like every other tree in here. I figure 100, 110 or whatever. There was a big fire went through here 100 years ago. 120. So maybe, you know, these are the offspring of the clearing of that whole area. You think I can pull that? I might have to cut that into a couple of pieces because that's a big one. Trying to cut those knuckles off as best as I can because I'm keeping this log for myself. It's going to go on the mill. I'm finding that the mills don't want to pay any money and the price of everything's gone up. They're paying pre-COVID prices, so forget that. So I've got the mill and the edger. It's easier for us to mill this up and sell it, so that way I can get the landowner more money as well. Now it's more work for me, but I get to split it a little bit better. He gets a little higher margin on it, and so do I. So everybody comes out happy in the long run. But for somebody to come in and, you know, give me what, $350, $1,000 for this tree, be ridiculous. When I'm going along here, just watch what you do. I tend to trim the top ones first, the stuff that's further away from me, and then I'll work on these ones here closer to the ground that are sort of holding this up in the air. If this were a real supporting branch and I cut that without cutting this, the tree might roll and pin me in. Even, you know, sometimes when you think you're kind of good, you still have the close calls on these things. Now some guys get upset cutting kind of in reverse like this with the top side of the blade. This is a dirty tree. And I'll be honest, my back is pretty bad, so I do whatever is most comfortable for me. I take my time. I'm not rushing. Work smarter, not harder. You can work all day instead of having to go to the chiropractor. That's kind of the way I do it. Make sure you cut those knuckles off real well, because I know that's going on the mill. I might trim that one up a little bit too. But this is going on the mill, so it just makes it easier to handle, and you get more on the logging truck. And everything right now is about saving money on fuel and the shipping prices, right? It's nuts. Seriously? I had a tank of fuel on this big girl. Now I should also mention that that's not a premium prime pine tree. kinda some clear. This is what happens when trees grow out in the open for so long. They sprout little branches all over. They don't reach up real high. Now this one just got high because they got big. But it didn't really have to fight the canopy too much. That one over there might be a little better. There's a few pine in here, but not a lot. Unfortunately, the spruce died a little too much before the time, but that's the way it goes in this kind of environment here. This is sort of high ground, not much water. She's going to flourish now, right? That's where she ends. Ooh, the saw's running rich. Clean the filter. I brought my tape. I brought my tape so I can do this. This is too long to pull through the bush. I'll end up snapping it in half. I don't know if that old girl will pull something that big. Oh, probably would, eh? Easier in the winter. See, it's got a crook in it, so I'm going to take a straight 16 out of it, and then I'm going to take an 8 and an 8, so that's 16.5 feet, or 16 foot 4, then an 8 foot 4, and then an 8 foot 4. That brings me right to here. So I'm going to cut this. I should be able to get this out. It'll end up smoking out a whole bunch of trees, and I can live with that. But that's a good size hole. It's kind of an oblong thing. This is Eastern wood, man. Okay? So relax, all you Western Canada and United States guys. 3 feet. 3 feet that way. And 2 foot 10 inches that way. There. Not a bad size for around here, man. I can dig it. That was my silly mistake there. I should have put a relief cut on the bottom of that. Thought I could get through it faster, but nope.
not going to pull any more through here. I don't want to wreck this guy's forest. I made some pretty good roads so far, but boy, you can make a mess of them really quickly with this kind of equipment, right? I haven't shown you guys my John Deere 440. I think it's about a 1968 or 70, something like that. Works great. The only thing is I got a hydraulic leak. I got to pull that ram out. Just haven't had time to do it. We've been too busy working in the bush. But she's leaking around that seal, and then there's another seal inside there, so we got to drop that pan. And of course all the pans are bent on these things, and they never seem to go back on, right? But I love this little girl. It's really nice to ride, to drive. But boy, oh boy, she'll go on her side pretty quick. I've had her almost over twice in the first run. And it's not even from winching. Like, you can pull yourself over with the winch, of course, but it's the when the logs get held up, you know, dragging them through the bush, they get hung up on some trees, they'll want to pull you over. One thing I like is that room in there. Room for stuff. Suspension seat. I like that transmission in it. It's got brakes. Tires are good. Put a new cable on it. Put these smaller cables on. 7/16 cable, 160 feet long. Makes it life real easy, especially for this smaller cedar stuff. And it pulls the big stuff too. Just don't go too crazy with it. Had to change out the water pump in it. I gave her a good tune-up. Changed all the fluids. You know what I want to do is it'll start to rain. That winch gets water in it through that opening there, through that plug. See, water sits in there. Ends up getting inside there. Anyway, we need to change all that out anyway. It's got the cracks in the usual places. It's been repaired a couple times. Pins need to be dealt with for sure, but it'll get us through this season into the winter, and next spring we'll probably get at that. All in all, pretty much dig that machine. All right, let's head out.